Struggling to break down defenses in FC26? Don't you worry, in this tutorial today I will show you step by step on how you attack like a pro, create chances and score more goals. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on the upcoming tutorials for the rest of the year. So in this video today, I will be showing you guys how you attack with the 4-4-2 formation. Very important to use your wingers and your strikers and of course, your center midfielders. So starting off from the halfway line basically. When you have the ball with one of your wingers around the halfway line, it's super important to have runners going forward. Why, you may ask? Because one of the runners that you will be sending through in on goal is always going to make that threatening run in behind, but also pushing down the opponent's defense. So let's just say in the background here, I'm sending my Mbappé and I don't play Mbappé in behind. Doesn't matter. As long as Mbappé is making that run in behind, he will push the opponent's defense down, which will create more space for the strikers and on the other side to be able to play these players through on goal. So I'm sending Mbappé with a L1 X pass, which basically makes Mbappé make a run afterwards. And how do you see that he's making a run? He has his arm forward like this. He's pointing that he wants to go forward. And the thing I see, Umut also stepped out with his Reinders here, which means that I have a very easy pass up to my Morgan. And then from there, I have two basically players that I can play. I can either play De Mornay, who's my striker, or I can play Mbappé in space. What's happening here then? I play Morgan, and I still have Mbappé running in behind, of course, because I already sent him. He needs to cover Mbappé, but he also needs to think about what's going to happen with De Mornay. So the thing here is, I'm sending Mbappé and I'm automatically in behind on goal. So in the background, we have a clip where I'm around the halfway line as well. And this is what you should not do when you play a 4-4-2 formation. The first trigger is fine. We send Salah on a run. That's basically in my backbone now. I will always have my wingers to be able to have like one kind of runner going forward. And yes, we want to break the line. We break the line perfectly here with Morgan. He needs to step out and he needs to cover Salah's run, of course. After this, I play Mbappé. But then again, I'm trying to say De Mornay, not De Mornay. This is Pina on the left mid position. But the thing I should have done instead, in around the halfway line, is to be able to send Pina, but not play her. And that's also where it gets a bit tricky. Because once I want to play Pina through here, first of all, it needs to be a triangle pass around Kunde, if that makes sense. But also Mbappé doesn't have an incisive pass, so he won't be able to make this. The thing I should have done here is to still play Reinders with an L1 pass. So Reinders can still take the touch forward, but also then I have Mbappé running in behind. So he needs to think about that, which is basically buy me time and space to be able to maybe then go out wide and then try to go inside. So if we see, I try to play Pina through, doesn't work at all, and my opponent can start his counter-attack from there. So if we play this clip through without pausing, once again, I get into Mbappé very good. I should have just played Reinders with an L1 pass, so Mbappé is making that run in behind instead of trying to force it to Pina and then lose possession, and my opponent has a good chance of scoring. And this is going to be another example of in around the box, you see. At the same time, I send Pina once again. We want to have that runner going in behind, and you will see how much space I will gain from this. But at the same time, I'm doing something wrong. And this is around the halfway line, as we talk about. Mbappé has the ball, Pina is making a run in behind. I see that he is covering Pina, which is going to open up space for someone else. And Reinders is in a very good spot. He's in front of my opponent's Reinders, and his Van de Ven is out of position. After here, I see that, okay, Alex Morgan maybe could be through here, but once again, Mbappé doesn't have any incisive pass, which basically won't make him able to play this through ball to Morgan. So the thing I should have done a little tap on the triangle button, trying to feed Reinders through. Then I can either play Morgan or I have Pina out wide once again. So it's all about trying to use your CMs as much as you can and not trying to force the passes. Because you see here now with Mbappé, I'm trying to force the pass to Morgan, I lose possession, and my opponent can start the attack from there. So if we go through once again here, you see, this kind of first trigger is essential though, because this is buying me space. This is really good. But I should have just played Reinders through here to be able to take a touch forward, and from there, I'm in a 3v2 position, and my opponent needs to second guess on what I will perform. And this is going to be kind of the same thing. It's going to be around the halfway line, but it's also actually about triggering. And as you see, my Reinders putting his arm forward, which means that I pressed L1 towards him, which makes him run in a straight line towards the goal. The thing I want to do here with Reinders is that I don't want to use him. I want to go out wide once again to Pina, because we need to have still a threat forward, but it doesn't need to be the winger all the time. Now, instead of sending the winger, I felt, okay, I'm going to try to send my CM and see what's happening. So I find Pina here in space. I know that Pina manages to have incisive pass in white, which makes her through balls way more accurate in general. Reinders is obviously still going to make this run in behind. But the thing I'm going to do that's in here is that I'm going to make a player lock, because you can only send one player each time in FC26, just like FC25. So for example, if I were to send Mbappé here, Reinders will just stop. He's not making that run into the box. But if I do a player lock with Mbappé by performing this by pressing down L3 and R3 on my controller, this is not stopping Reinders from running. So I do a play lock with Mbappé. Incisive pass works perfect there with Pina. I see, okay, Reinders is actually in front of my opponent's Pasho inside the box. And then after this, I can take a touch forward. Then I will probably have a cut back either open for Salah or Alex Morgan in this case. Perfect touch by Reinders. I see Alex Morgan is basically wide open for a tap-in. A player, and we have 3-3. Fantastic attack, and it's all about the triggers around the halfway line. Essentially the wingers, but it can also work sometimes with the center midfielders as well. So jumping into the second segment, it will be what do we need to do to score around the box. In general, what you want to do in around the box is, I would say this is like very, very close to the box. And in general, what you want to do here is that you want to go wide. But you don't want to do it like last year. You don't want to aim for the corner flag and then try to revert it back. Why? Because the AI is so much better in its positioning when you try to go to the corner flag, then play it back to the CM, then punch a pass into the striker's feet. They are in way better positions, so it's a bit harder. And the thing that I'm doing here, I should have just gone wide to Salah and then try to revert it back. Because my thought in here is that I want to cut inside in around the penalty box, because that's usually where the gaps of space is. But the thing I'm doing here with Mbappé, I find a very good pass to Pina. I should have just gone wider, because here it's so compact, and to be able to stretch his team out, we need to go wide to be able to open up that space. So here with Pina, I managed to lose the ball because it's so compact. The R1 pressure this year in defense is also pretty decent. So in general, very hard to attack. So if we go through, once again here, go back, and then, yeah, Pina just losing the ball, and it's because it's just way too compact. So this is going to be off a corner, and you see once again, we're sending that kind of player early in build-up because we need to be able to find these pocket of spaces. Obviously, when I get in around the box here, and when I'm actually about to enter the box, it's super important to be able to find this pass early. Because when I find this pass early, this is obviously from a corner, so this is like a different look. But you have greater chances, and in general 1v1 defending on this game is hard. We can play a few quick passes, and Mbappé gets into a perfect position here and scores to make it 4-1 against Umut. But overall, again, we come in a bit earlier. We're not really aiming for the corner flag, but once we actually try to go in a bit earlier, this is kind of the positions that the players are taking. So you see, I have tiki-taka gold on both De Jong and Reinders, which means that the perfect pass here to Mbappé will open up, finds the finesse into the back of the net and scores to make it 4-1 off a great attack. And it's only by us coming in a bit more early. That's what we're looking to do this year in FC26. I think in general, this is going to be a perfect example of what I'm meaning when I'm saying trying to go in early. I could have just went for the corner flag here and tried to revert it back and such, but I know for a fact that defending in this year's game is hard. I've also done a defending tutorial about this, and in general, we want to attack the space in between the fullback and the center back, because that's usually where the AI doesn't really work. So once again here, I'm just doing some good left stick here with Yamal, and you see how hard it is defending. This is Umut, one of the best pro players to ever play the game. And I'm finding this kind of space because I'm just taking my time. It's about left stick here, and if you have good dribblers on your team, I mean, use the left stick as much as you can to try to bait your opponent out and then try to just walk with it. Don't do R1 dribbling, don't do anything else. Just try to do left stick and try to turn as quick as you can here. With Yamal opening up space, you see, he is panic defending. I should have probably paused this afterwards now when I see this, but I tried to go for an early Trivela into the back of the net. We get a corner from this though. And corners, once again, I want to try to go in a bit earlier. I'm trying to find Yamal out wide, and you see here, I'm not going to try to aim for the corner flag yet. Now, you see, I'm not going as deep, coming backwards, and then I still get a corner from this. And this in the background is also going to be in around the box. What do we try to do? So, basically here, as I said, I send De Jong early, but here I could have also decided, okay, I can just run down the corner flag, because I believe, in my opinion, that Nico Williams is going to be quicker than Nuno Mendes. But I want to go inside early. And this is also because he needs to step to the center back here to try to be aggressive, or otherwise I can just take space forward, which will buy me time and buy me space to be able to score the goal. So he steps out with the center back. I have already Morgan running in behind, and we use the finesse shot plus on her to be able to put the ball into the back of the net. So once again, trying to come in a bit early. You don't need to play or go to the corner flag if you want to. You just need to go inside with a ball roll or one pass. We have Morgan running in behind, as I said, and we slot the ball home to make it 2-2 in this pro ladder game. So what are you considering doing inside the box then? And this is going to be a super important thing. So this is not going to be a gameplay thing, this is going to be a super quick thing, but when you look towards what you want to do inside the box, you need to know what players you put in your team. I would consider getting strikers and wingers that manages either to have the low-driven playstyle in silver or gold, of course, or even the finesse. So if you look at my wingers, for example, or strikers, yes, I have a lot of budget, so I can use whoever I want to, basically. But Dembele, I play him as a striker right now. He has low-driven. I have Alex Morgan. She has gold in finesse, which is a really, really good playstyle inside the box, in my opinion, but also the low-driven in white. Nico Williams has finesse shot in white, but also the game changer, which means that he can perform Trivela shots. And of course, I play Mbappé on the wing. He manages to have both finesse shot and low driven. Cheaper alternatives though. We have Demornay, who is around 100k, I believe. She has finesse and game changer, which is amazing. We have Claudia Pina, who is the most hyped player in the game at the moment. She has finesse, but also in gold in low driven shot, which is basically amazing. For example, I have Lamine Yamal, who I recently just substituted off my team. He has finesse. So it's super, super important to look for strikers and attackers that manages of either finesse or the low-driven shot playstyle. And obviously silver or gold doesn't really matter that much, but they need to have one of the two. Because that kind of shooting technique you need to use with the player you're playing with inside the box. So what are we not trying to look to do inside the box? This is a perfect example of what you don't want to do. Once I have this kind of space with Mbappé, I don't need to keep on taking R2 touches, because R2 touches will make the touches longer and it's easier for the opponent to get in a tackle and try to time it. If I were to just use R1 dribbling here in this sequence, he would have had a way harder time knowing what would happen. Because once I take this R2 touch, as you see here with Mbappé, super easy for Pacho to go in and intercept the ball and start to attack from there. So the thing basically that you don't want to do is to try to take R2 touches, because you see how heavy these touches are, and it's so easy for the opponent to take the ball from you. So this is going to be a sequence where, first of all, the number one tip inside the box is to take your time. Once I'm through on goal here, a lot of people starting to move the keepers, and this is obviously pro gameplay, so this is from the best of the best that I'm taking these examples from. So if your opponent doesn't move the keeper, just try to wait him out. When I have this much time, I'm just waiting out to see what Mamardashvili will do. I see he's moving Mamardashvili to the first post, which means that I'm aiming towards the far post instead with just a normal shot. I could have used low driven here, but I still think normal shot this year is actually quite accurate as well. There's also going to be a clip where I'm actually thinking about what playstyles Demornay has. Obviously, this is just muscle memory. I've been playing loads of games with Demornay and I absolutely love her. But this is going to be where muscle memory kicks in. And I know for a fact Demornay has a finesse shot in white, and I'm just wrapping it then. As soon as I'm just inside the box, I'm trying to use these playstyles to my biggest advantage. I know Morgan has finesse shot in gold, I will use finesse. I know Demornay has finesse shot in white, I will use finesse. I know Mbappé has finesse, I know Mbappé has low driven. So I try to mix it up. But it's super important to knowing what kind of playstyles in shooting your players have. So we're coming back to this example as I showed you before on what we want to do. This is basically the perfect attack on what you want to try to look to do at the halfway line, what you try to do around the box, and what you try to do inside the box. This is the perfect example. So we get the ball off a corner. We send our Demornay first. Okay, I see I can't probably find Demornay here. Then I decide to find Lamine Yamal, and we're around the halfway line. Now once we're around the box here again, I'm just having patience here. I can't really find anything on the back post. I see I can basically find Lamine Yamal and then try to rework it to my CMs. So the thing I do Yamal, De Jong, Tiki-Taka plus into Mbappé. I know, in my head once again, muscle memory, Mbappé manages to have finesse. And you want to try to power up these finesses quite a lot. As you look at the bottom left, we see I'm pushing it up to almost 3 bars of power. It goes into the back of the net, because once you have these playstyles, finesse or low driven, it's not that the shot is getting a lot better, it's only that the keepers are glitching a lot more, falling to the ground, making weird animations, and that's only because the players that you shoot with manages to have one of the two playstyles with low driven or the finesse shot. That's it for today's FC26 Pro tutorial on how to level up your attack. I hope you picked up some of this stuff, and that will help you create more chances and bury those goals in FC26. If this helped you, smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe, but also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you're not missing the upcoming tutorials on the channel. If you guys got any questions or want any other breakdowns or different parts of the game, drop it in the comments, I'm always reading them. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.